Hi, welcome back to another episode of Behind the Seams with WeGotEm Tees. Today I'm here with Sarah, my shop manager, right-hand girl. Can't do anything without her. And we're going to be talking about this exciting opportunity that we got to work with Dick's Sporting Goods to make these jackets I have right behind me for their Varsity Team. You guys may have seen it all over our social media, etc. And today we're just going to kind of talk about how we got this opportunity, what it took to get the job done, because it took a lot, and just more or less what happened, so we can get a little bit of the behind the scenes look at how this all went. So to start off, Sarah doesn't even know some of these things because it sort of happened pretty fast.
It did.
Yeah. So like early February, I was contacted by Allie Prince over at Social Revelry. She's located out of Tampa, Florida. I'm not sure exactly how she found me, but I'm assuming just somewhere like through social media, because that's how she contacted me, was just straight through my DMs and Instagram. And she just told me kind of what they were looking for, that they needed about 60 plus jackets made for this event that was going to take place in late April. So we're talking early February. This wasn't a ton of time, but I was like, the opportunity to do this and to be part of this was a big deal, a super big deal. So I went to Sarah and I was like, we're going to make this happen, you know?
I found out from you telling me that we were going to be in a meeting.
Oh, yeah. I didn't even tell you. Okay, because I was out of town. I was in Georgia, actually, visiting my daughter. And so the pieces kind of like started to fall into place while I was out of town. So Sarah didn't even know that all of this was happening until I came back. And I'm like, we're having a meeting with Allie. And you're like, who's Allie? And what are we doing? So Sarah kind of got the crash course on it. And that's how the whole thing sort of, the wheels started turning on the project. So when I got back from the trip, Allie we scheduled a Google Meet, a virtual meeting with Allie, so we could sort of get a little bit of a better feel of what they were expecting from us. At that point, we just knew they needed jackets. We weren't totally sure what
was going on them or how they wanted them.
Or even the color of the jacket. You know, we weren't 100% sure yet. So we set up this virtual meeting, and that's sort of where I threw you in.
Yeah.
I threw you in because I needed you to help me remember what happened in the meeting.
And there was a lot.
There was a lot of information, and I was like, Sarah, I need you for my memory because
there was lots of notes.
There was a lot of notes, and I wanted to get it right. It was important to us to get this right.
It was such a big deal.
Such a big deal for us. It's our small little shop, you know, to be able to do something for like a national brand was a really, really big deal. So we had that meeting. I said, Sarah, sit right here, take all the notes so I don't forget anything. It's hard for me to like talk and take notes at the same time. You know what I mean?
And I didn't do much. I wrote.
Sarah just wrote everything down. Write everything she says down.
Yeah.
And even during that first meeting that we had with her, there was a lot of different ideas kicked around. We weren't 100% sure what she wanted. She was still trying to get approval from the Dick's Sporting Goods people. So, you know, she's also acting as like a middleman.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of approvals that needed to be done, trying to get it just right. So
just even the art, we had to go over art multiple times to make sure it was correct and what Dick's Sporting Goods wanted.
And when you're dealing with like a national brand like that, everything's important. Like the color palette is important. Their logos, like they have to be true. They can't be modified in some sort of way like that, you know, and we wanted to make sure that we really got it right. I'm hoping that we have an opportunity to do it again the following year. So it was important that we got it right. So that's why I needed your memory for me.
Hopefully it was a good one.
I got a lot of energy, but sometimes I forget the details. And that's why Sarah and I are a good team. Yeah. Because you remember those details. So after a couple of back and forths with Allie bringing those ideas to Dick's Sporting Goods. We finally narrowed down the design that they wanted. Some of it was elements that they've had previously on their previous jackets, like the back design here. They had done that previously. We changed it a little bit because we actually did real chenille patches, not. I believe in the past they may have had, it looked from the pictures, or like
twill,
maybe like twill patches or something like that. But, you know, from talking to them, they really wanted that old school letterman jacket feel, which really means chenille patches. Yeah. So I wanted to be able to give that to them and give them like a really high quality version of what they had in the past. Because there was design elements that they loved about their old jacket, but it was just like that old school varsity jacket feel that I don't think was being captured before. And I really wanted to make sure that we captured that for them. So then the expectations came. You know, we needed to deliver on time. Yeah. You know, this wasn't a situation where you could be a couple days late.
No.
You know, their event had a hard deadline. And this particular event, I mean, they had, you know, some celebrities on there, some social media influencers. This was a big, giant event that they put on. So the deadline was critical. Yeah. The design was critical. The deadline was critical. You know, making sure that for me, and I know for you too, Sarah, that it was a lot about, and kind of for all of our customers, we want to make the process as easy as possible. Because if we make it easy on them, then they're more likely to come back to us. You know, even if you deliver a good product, but the process was difficult and you made it difficult for them to do business with us,
they don't like it.
They don't like it. They don't like it. Especially, you know, I know Allie, you know, she's got her own company. So she's a busy lady. You know, I wanted to make sure that I took as much stress off of her with this, because I know she took a chance by using a small business that really she didn't know much about. Right. So I knew already that she was going to be a little stressed out about that. You know, I would have been stressed out about that. You know, you got this big event and these jackets were like the big thing when they first got there to the event, that all of these people were going to see. It was a big, important item. So I wanted to make sure that we made this as easy on Allie as possible. So those things were important to me. And then after we got all those things situated, then I tossed it to you.
Yeah.
And then the chaos really began.
That's when it really starts.
That's when it really began.
So we had to get going on ordering jackets, doing art, you know, just for the patches, the names, everything.
Yeah, everything. And that's where sometimes I feel bad because you're like, great, Kim, you got all this, and now it's like, there you go, Sarah, make it happen.
No,
make it happen for me. And she's like, okay, but I need this, I need that. Yeah. What about this? What about that? So I knew that, but it was a big project.
It was, and it took everybody.
It took all of us.
Everybody.
And not forgetting that we still had all of our regular business to attend to. Like, we had this big project, but we couldn't just drop our regular business. You know, that was really important to make sure that we still met those deadlines as well.
We had to fit it in.
We had to somehow fit it in. We had people here working overtime. We had Saturdays. We did a lot of things just to be able to fit this job in and still manage some of our other deadlines that we had. So that was really important. But I think the first thing that happened was getting the sizes.
Yeah.
I
think that was it.
That was kind of probably
ordering.
My biggest hurdle. I think our biggest hurdle was, you know, we needed to order these jackets. These jackets, you know, what did we have? Like, from the beginning of February to the end of April. About 8 weeks. Well, these jackets themselves take 4 to 6 weeks to get into our possession. So we were on a pretty tight deadline. So by the beginning of February, Allie had just a few weeks to collect sizes from anybody. And, you know, at that point, they hadn't even solidified who was
on the team.
So we had about a 3-4 week time period where we went from, great, we're doing this job. They had to solidify the team. Then they had to get sizes. So that was our first kind of, I think maybe our real only struggle.
I think that was really the only struggle because while we can do all this, we're still working on art over here. So really it was just making sure we got the jackets so that they weren't going to be late.
We worked on art. We were making patches. All of those things were being done before the jackets were even in our hand. But we were on such a tight deadline just to make sure we got these jackets in our hands on time. And they were struggling a little bit to get sizes. I mean, there's a lot of different entities roaming around. There's 64 team members. There's Dick's Sporting Goods. Everybody has busy lives. Sizes not getting, to Allie, then not to us. And through nobody's fault. It is what it is. It's what it is. And so we were trying to be as flexible as possible, but we also knew that time was of the essence, So eventually we got all the sizes. We kind of ordered them.
We ordered a little bit more too, just in case.
We did. And we also ordered, because they were able to get us some sizes right away. And so they kind of gave us some sizes, I think, in 3 different waves. They did. So what we decided to do is that, tell us how we did that, Sarah.
Yeah, so once they kind of gave us the sizes in different waves. So the first wave I just immediately ordered, and then they brought us more, and then I ordered those, and just in the different waves. And then you had mentioned, why don't you just order 1 extra of certain sizes just in case anything happens, because it does happen.
It does happen.
Sometimes manufacturers forget to send us a jacket. So luckily we had all jackets and we made it work.
We got all jackets. We did use some of those extra ones. There was some jacket sizes that we got a little bit even after the fact, but because we ordered extras, we were able to fulfill everybody's sizes. We really tried to dot every I and cross every T. It's what if this happens? What if this happens? And both of us, we tried to think about what ifs the whole way.
The good thing is, one of the jackets, the button came broken.
Oh, yes.
So we had to use one of our extra jackets to replace the broken button one.
Yeah, something the manufacturer didn't catch, but as we were sewing it, we saw that the button was broken. But luckily, we had extras, so we were able to
replace it.
Yeah, and even this morning, I actually got a text message from Allie this morning and said that they think one of their team members has misplaced their jacket, so they might need another one. And I'm like, don't worry, we got it. We have those. We made extra patches. We made extra patches of everything. We had extra jackets, so we were prepared for all the what ifs, because making sure that we came through for them was
important.
Was paramount. After we get the ordering complete, it is full on, let's get to production. Let's the first thing we have to do is get the art done for all of the patches. The embroidery, we did the name embroidery, all that stuff.
And even getting the font for the names.
Oh yeah, that was kind of a big deal too. Everything was really specific.
Yes.
Dick's wanted a specific font for their the first names that were embroidered on the jacket, so that took a little bit
of time
of going back and forth and figuring out what font they want. I think we got it right though.
I think so.
They looked great. They really did. So as soon as we get the order, the jackets are ordered, so now we're on a waiting game for the jackets to arrive, and then we go into, okay, what can we do while we're waiting for the jackets to come? So what are the things that we were doing while we were waiting for the jackets?
Yeah, so we were doing the names. We had all their names in their files, and then we were also creating the art for all the patches, and that does take time.
Yes, and making patches too takes time. Chenille patches aren't quick to make.
No.
So those take time.
Yeah, they did, and making sure they came out good because it was brand new art. So there was just some things on our ends that we had to do to make sure they looked great, and at
the end of the day, I was really proud of the way the patches all turned out. I thought they looked They looked fantastic. I haven't heard otherwise from Dick's Sporting Goods or Allie, so I'm assuming they thought the same. I was proud of the way that the patches turned out. I thought we did a great job on that. So we're doing the art, we're making the patches, and then finally the jackets arrive. So the jackets actually arrived on a Monday. The first wave of jackets, because they did come in some waves. So the first wave of jackets came on the Monday before I wanted to ship. So we had 1 week. 1 week to sew all the jackets. Yeah. So these jackets arrive, and Sarah goes into conductor mode. Let's go. Here. Everybody's got to work. Yeah. And a lot of it is like conducting the chaos back there. You know, everybody, you know, we have, you know, our patch makers. We have the girls who are doing the art. We have the people who are embroidering directly on the jacket. We have our seamstresses that are sewing the patches on the jacket.
And then our checkers.
And then we had to check them. Yeah. You know, we had to double check and triple check and clean. You know, we had to quality control them. So there was quite an assembly line that was happening to get all of these jackets done, and Sarah was really chaos coordinator.
Just gotta make sure everyone stayed on task.
and still we had other work to do in the middle of that. Yeah. So it was a big deal, you know. And in the middle of that, then we actually had one of our seamstresses be unexpectedly hospitalized. So thank goodness we have our miracle seamstress, Christina. Yes. She was willing to work extra. She came in on Saturday, you know, on that Saturday in between. She stayed late like we did. Everybody did. Everybody worked as hard as we could to make sure that we started to get these jackets shipped the very next week. So we had 1 week. I mean, really think about it. We did a lot that 1 week. That was
a lot.
That was a lot. I was really proud of us.
But literally everybody here touched the jacket in some way.
Which was kind of cool. Yeah.
Or, you know,
whatever
everybody here touched the jacket in some way.
In some way, yeah. Which is kind of a big deal because it was a whole big group project, and I feel like everybody here is super proud of what we did.
Oh yeah, I think so.
You know, I mean, for me, I think, you know, I opened the shop 10 years ago or 11 years ago now. Like, this was definitely one of the highlights for me. I hope there's more to come, but this was a big highlight. We love doing the jackets for the individual students, but getting to be part of something that was like in a bigger community was really exciting. Yeah. Okay, so when we're in the middle of that whole week of like giant production, I think it was probably like Wednesday, I come up with, oh my gosh, I have this great idea.
We love your great ideas.
Right. I'm like, we're going to personalize the coat hangers. So we went ahead and created the coat hangers with our laser cutting machine, and everyone's like, we're going to do what? And I'm like, yeah, we're going to engrave the coat hangers, because I felt like those little tiny touches were going to be a big deal. So then I tell the guys who make our patches, surprise, you need to engrave 64 coat hangers for me, start now.
In the middle of still making some patches.
They're like, great. I'm like, we can do it. You know, and I thought that it was important to do that. I do think at the end of the day, those little touches were a big deal. I think they appreciated them. Another little extra that we decided to do, all of the athletes got these sports patches. These were not sewn on the jacket. They actually did that at the event for the athletes. But we created all these. I put a little personal note in each of those bags for the athletes. Yeah. I just thought that little tiny thing of knowing that these jackets were handmade. These jackets were handmade by a small little company in Southern California. And I really wanted to make sure that they they knew that this was really a labor of love where these jackets came from. So we added a little like personalized note into each of those bags that these patches came in. And then the other thing that we did is, you know, the jacket was Dick's Sporting Goods all over it. Yeah. But I really, you know, of course I asked Allie's permission. I wanted to put something on the inside of the jacket so that the athletes and Dick's really could remember where these jackets came from. I was hoping, you know, 2 years from now, 5 years from now, something like that our little company could be remembered. And so we did a little bit of like internal embroidery that just put our logo on it, put our Instagram handle on it, hoping for, you know, maybe some of those athletes would follow us. You know, we could get a little bit from there. A lot of them have followed us, which we're so excited to see. Shout out to @Chaz Golf. He's like our number one fan. Thank you, Chaz. We appreciate it. That like made us smile so much. We're like, did you see Chaz Golf? Did you see Chaz Golf? We were so excited. Yes. So I think those little tiny extra touches that we did for Dick's Sporting Goods, as well as putting our own little, hey, remember where these jackets came from, really made the project special from the beginning, you know. And then I think the final part of it was really the shipping. Yeah. You know, we still had to ship these jackets from California all the way to Tampa, and they had to get there on time. They couldn't be late. So now we're kind of putting a little bit of fate into FedEx, which, you know, things can go south there. It's been known to happen before. So again, I was like, I wanted to err on the side of caution. I wanted to get these there. I wanted to get them out of here as fast as possible. That's why I had given myself that Monday deadline, because their event started the following Monday. So really, ideally, I wanted all of these in Allie's hands by Friday. Yeah. You know, I didn't want, they needed to be there by Friday. They actually all got there by Thursday of that week. We made our deadline. All 64 jackets accounted for. Patches accounted for. Hangers accounted for. Everything was accounted for. And when I finally got the confirmation from Allie that they had everything in their possession, I was like, what a sigh of relief.
You called me.
I know. I was like, they got him. Everything got him.
I was like, I was going to text you and find out.
Yes. Like, it's such a big deal. And then I remember during that week, you know, after we sent the first shipment, everybody in the shop was like, did she say she liked him? Did she say she liked him? Does she like him? We all wanted to know if they liked the jackets. And I was like, well, I haven't heard anything, but I'm going with no news is good news.
She's really busy.
She's busy with this event. She's not here to tell me how wonderful she thinks the jackets are, but I'm sure if she thought they were terrible, she would let me know.
Right.
So we were going with no news was good news. But then finally on that Sunday night before their event, Allie did send me a text message saying how much that they loved the jackets and they were really happy with what we did. So then we really got the sigh of relief.
Yeah, and then it just turned into... we kept checking their social media.
Then we became social media obsessed.
Yes.
Watching, you know, where's our jackets? Where's our jackets? You know, like, and then finally when we started to see that Monday morning, the following Monday morning, we started to see the jackets come through on social media, and like I think all of our little hearts just like fluttered. Yes. You know, I was at the gym working out when I got the first one, and I was like,
Abby and I all morning,
like, check. Yeah. So that was just exciting to see something that, you know, we crafted in our little shop like this, like on a big stage. Well, for us, a big stage was so exciting.
Yeah, I think it might be one of our biggest orders, right?
Yeah, for sure. You know, for sure. I mean, we do a lot of individual jackets, you know, for the year. You know, we probably about 2,000 jackets come out of this shop every year. But as far as like a bulk order of jackets, this was definitely it's different. You know, it has to go through a little bit of a different process versus one jacket that's different versus 64 jackets that are essentially the same, maybe a different name, but really more of a mass production. So the production process was a little bit different, you know, but overall I was really happy with what we did, and thanks for hanging with me, Sarah, you know, through all of this. She's like, I'm used to you. She's used to my craziness.
That's fun though.
But anyways, we wanted to kind of break this down a little bit for the people who watch us, the people who love us, and all of this we couldn't do without everybody that's given us a chance to do business for them through all of these years that we finally got this huge opportunity, and we're so grateful. And it goes back to, you know, 11 years ago, somebody told me the first 10 jackets matter. And I'll never forget that the first 10 jackets that we made for somebody mattered, because if you make those first 10 good, it's going to build from there. And every year we've been in business, it's been, I just will always remember those first 10 jackets, making sure we did a good job, and then the rest builds from there. And now we got this first like big bulk order of jackets, and I hope that this builds from there. So it was so exciting. So anyways, thank you for watching us. Remember to like, follow, subscribe. All the links will be below, and we can't wait to see you next time on Behind the Scenes with We Got 'em Tees.